Welcome to the Wednesday morning edition of the Sack Lunch Show. It's 10:06 on your Wednesday, March 18th. This is the Sack Lunch Show, and we are presented by David White and the gang at Cook Supply and Services, the Bonnie Blue House, Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, H&R Block in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, and Blakely, ABAC at Bainbridge, Stewart Auto Parts, B3 Property Management, my friend Brian Howell with United Rentals, and the Nomad Nurse.
And don't forget Bill Payne, Attorneys at Law, Brownlee Glass Company, Carter's Fried Chicken, home of the D-Bone, Dr. Homer Breckenridge III, Hadaway Ford, Bernie's Transmission Specialist, and Stone's Home Centers.
We're also brought to you by Specialty Auto, Bainbridge DUI School, Dixie Dandy, Southern Harvest Equipment, Mitchell County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, CNR Parts and Auto Body, and my friend Cole at South Georgia Motorsports.
And don't forget New South Roofing, Grassy Cuts, Seminole Hydraulics, the law offices of Silvers Ambrose, Lindquist & Co., Westwood Schools, Hale's Stump Grinding, Lane's Medical Shop, and Studio Tees.
Absolutely. If you need T-shirts printed, we got you covered. You need koozies printed, we got you covered. You need a hoodie? I mean, I know it's starting to get warm, but Johnny's wearing a
I'm freezing.
Cardigan right now.
I was cold when I walked. I was like, no, I got a jacket in the car.
Is that what that is? That wouldn't be classified as a cardigan, would it? That's more like a fleece. Okay.
No, they don't? I thought they did. Didn't Mr. Rogers unzip his?
Whoa.
Unzip his shoes.
He put his shoes on. I remember that part.
He unzipped his coat, took his coat off, didn't he?
It was a button.
Oh, was it a button? That's right.
On the bottom of his sweater. And Mr. Rogers would kick your butt.
Hey.
He was a former, I think, Navy SEAL or Marine, one of the two.
He beat Adam Sandler up for a minute.
No, that was Bob Barker.
That's right. Bob. God. They're the same.
Yeah, old men.
Oh, man.
Hey,
how you like that, Bobby?
I'm so happy to be in this seat here today as we bring you the Wednesday edition of the Sack Lunch Show for a couple of reasons. Number one, I was out yesterday.
Right.
Al Kell took me all the way to
across the map.
Literally the middle of nowhere, Alabama. Well, no, this was even more so.
You said that's all about.
We got to Troy, Alabama, and took a left. And I promise you, at one point I looked at Al and I said, dude, is the road going to continue?
Yeah.
And I'm from, nowhere southwest Georgia. Like, I'm not from a big town or big city. The biggest place I've ever lived was Tallahassee.
Right.
I mean, so it's not like I'm not used to country roads and back roads and dirt. But, I mean, when there's literally nothing for miles.
Not even power lines. When you feel like the road's going to turn into a gravel road, dirt gravel road, you know something's wrong.
So I'm glad to have made it back.
Right.
I'm glad to be here as a, normal segment of my life. A lot of people's lives have been completely upended the last week or so. I'm glad to be here right now because this is a sense of normalcy for me.
Man.
And I hope it's a sense of normalcy for all of our listeners out there. Now, you can also watch us on the YouTube.
on the YouTube.
You can watch us on the YouTube, as Bernie Sanders said. So maybe you're quarantined at home with your kids.
And you need some entertainment. We are here.
You can watch us if your TV does the YouTube. Yep.
Right.
Or if you've got the YouTube app on your TV like I do, what would they need to type in?
Just look up Flint Media, the channel, and we're live on it. Or Sack Lunch Show, number 14, March 18th.
Okay, so if you just go to Flint Media, if you go to YouTube and you type in Flint Media,
yes,
you should find us. We've got a YouTube channel where you can watch the Sack Lunch Show there as well. Couple of housekeeping notes. First of all, we'll be broadcasting live this Friday at the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less, Highway 39 South in Donaldsonville. Now, you ask yourself this question. This is a grocery store, right, Johnny?
Right.
Grocery stores have been hit pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
Business-wise, they've had plenty of business the last week or two.
Yes, they have.
Let's tell you a little bit about what the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less in Donaldsonville is doing. First of all, they have implemented a triple cleaning program throughout the day and overnight to keep shopping safe. Now, the Pig was already a super clean grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even the carts. It seems to be the dirtiest part at all grocery stores. even the carts and the bathrooms at the pig were already super clean.
Always clean.
Now they've implemented this triple cleaning program, and they have opened special hours for senior citizens.
That's right.
From 6 a.m. until 7 a.m., Monday through Friday. This is senior citizen hour. So if maybe you're a senior citizen or you know one or and you're a little nervous about getting out and about, but you need some groceries, the pig in Donaldsonville's got you covered.
Right.
They have a special hour from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday where it's just senior citizens.
It's 55 and over.
It's perfectly clean.
Right.
Like nobody else has touched the cart since it's been cleaned, so
you good.
Even if they just cleaned it, but Johnny put the cart back,
Right.
you don't have to worry about Johnny's germs if you go during the senior citizen hour from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And by the way, they have paper products.
Yes.
That includes toilet paper and bottled water in stock right now at the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less, Highway 39 South in Donaldsonville. We'll be broadcasting live there Friday afternoon.
Right.
I'm thinking, I bought some groceries last week.
Right.
We're still good.
Yeah.
We still got toilet paper.
Right.
I got a picture from Allie this morning of this gigantic Boston butt that she was putting in the crock pot. So that's going to feed us for a couple of days.
Yeah.
But by Friday, we'll need, just as normal course of events, we'll need a few more things.
Small restock.
So I'm going to be at the pig.
Right.
I'm
Friday.
just going to restock. I'm going to do it sensibly and reasonably.
Right.
I'm not going to load up on
He's not going to bring your trailer and load up all the paper products.
And by the way, first of all, they do have a limit on paper products right now at the pig. They normally say no limit, but right now they are putting a 2 per person, I think, 2-pack.
I think so, yes.
But
which is great.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. That's great. But I'm gonna load up on some other things. That not more than we would normally buy, but just the normal amount of whatever it is we need.
Right. The list.
If it's peanut butter, I'm gonna buy a jar of peanut butter. You know what I mean?
Right.
That kind of thing. Which, by the way, I thought this is so. We were out of hand soap.
Oh.
What an awful time to run out of hand soap, right? And so I grabbed 2 bottles, squirt bottles, of hand soap.
All right.
Okay. At the same time, I realized that there was hardly any squirt bottle hand soap on the shelf. I mean, there was like 4 bottles there.
Right.
And I grabbed a couple, and I thought to myself, well, I should grab these other 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so I did momentarily. And then I looked, and right next to all of the squirt bottle hand soap is all of this bar soap. I'm talking about Dove and Irish Spring and all the Dial, all the this soap.
Normal soap.
And I thought,
wait a minute.
Well, there's plenty of this. You can wash your hands with this.
Right. Lava, anything.
I mean, any of that. I mean, it's almost like the toilet paper thing. Like people feel like they have to buy all this toilet paper. Maybe they feel like they have to buy hand sanitizer or have to buy pump hand soap when you can really just.
I'd rather use the bar soap. Right, it is. Yeah.
That's probably because it's more expensive.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean. Well, if there's a stack of water that's $1 or whatever. And then you got the Dasani, which is $5. The Dasani is going to be your last choice.
You'll see this, there's pictures on the internet. The whole all the bottles of water
Gone.
And then there'll just be a whole pallet.
It's like
that tells you that it's not an emergency yet.
No, it's not.
It's
not.
just people.
Yeah, I'd rather die than pay them
words,
$2 extra.
Freaking out. I did see one picture. And listen, I'm an unsweet tea drinker.
Right.
Like in the South, I know that's almost saying a bad word. But several years ago, probably 10 years ago now, I was trying to lose some weight. And so I decided to cut out sweet tea, and I got used to drinking unsweet tea. And now that's what I drink. I drink unsweet tea. If I drink sweet tea, I can drink a little bit of it. But if I drink too much, my stomach hurts. It's just I've changed.
Wow.
It was kind of tough. I ain't gonna lie.
Boy, it's like drinking brown water.
The first time you're like, why am I even doing this?
Yeah,
but,
ew.
Anyway, so I drink unsweet tea.
Right.
But most people in our neck of the woods don't.
Look at you like, what?
And you go to the restaurant and they're like, you said sweet tea. I said, no, ma'am, I said unsweet tea. No, you said sweet. No, I said unsweet.
No, you said sweet.
But I did see one picture of, like the gallon jug of tea that you can buy at the grocery store. And it was like the only thing left was unsweet tea. Like all the sweet tea was gone. And it was like, obviously, we're not scared enough to start drinking unsweet tea.
Right. We're not. I think a meteor would have to hit before we start doing that. I know. How you pick in a crisis? Yeah. How you pick in a crisis? Oh, man. But, I don't know. This is, and it's just such a ripple effect. I saw a post today where the kid, these kids will they have a graduation? You know what I mean? I just, you start thinking about the little things that it's affecting, like the high school baseball team. They're not going to play another game. That's over. They're not going to play another game.
Yeah.
They may not even have a graduation ceremony. So it's kind of sad.
We're going to kind of get into that in the news segment here in just a minute because, like you said, I mean, this ripple effect, it's affecting everything. And there are some things that are, quote, more important than others. Like, I'm not trying to downplay the significance of sports not being played and things like that. But, there are some people that, they've lost their jobs. And so when you start to compare things, on the importance scale, I mean, you got to have a job, but it's still a very tough time. In fact, for say a senior in high school, this is it. This may be the hardest thing they've ever had to go through. Now, that's not saying they won't go through harder things in just a few years.
This is just a test.
But at this point in their life, this is a big, big deal.
Oh,
now, to a 35-year-old dad of two, I'm like, well, so what if you don't get to walk at graduation, But to that 17 or 18-year-old or the mom
and their
or
families,
dad of that 17 or 18-year-old, it is a big deal. I get it.
If Jonah was graduating right now, I'd be mad because if you knew what it took for me to get him to walk across that stage and how hard it took for me to get him there, I'd be like, we're having a ceremony.
He's walking.
He's walking somewhere.
There might not be anybody else here.
I don't care who. I'll give him the diploma. He's walking across that stage.
My mama told me in high school, I was a good student. I made good grades. I was an honor graduate. I refused at one point in my high school career to regularly attend classes. In high school, I got.
Now, did your mom and daddy know?
Well, this is how it happened. So I can talk about all this freely.
Right now. Now you can.
I believe the what is it called? Where if you commit a crime, there's only so many years you can get prosecuted for it. Whatever. Anyway, I believe that's passed. Statute of limitations has passed.
That's it.
So my junior year of high school, I had made friends with people in the administration. Because I was a good student. I mean, I didn't get in a lot of trouble or anything, and I made good grades, and I played baseball. I was active in extracurricular stuff and things like that. So I had a good relationship, as good as you could have with like the school administrators. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't known as a troublemaker or anything like that. And I also had some leniency in my comings and goings because I left school early to go to work. I was in that program, DCT or whatever it was back then. And then, like, for example, I had Mr. Whitworth and Dr. Burton as ag teachers, and so they might send me on an errand. Things like that throughout the day. So if I left campus, nobody really was like, where's that kid going?
Yeah, where's he going?
They probably thought I had, authorization.
He's going somewhere.
To leave campus.
He'll be back.
I would, and I'm not necessarily bragging about this, I'm just telling you a story, okay? I would just decide, you know what, man?
I'm done.
I'm going fishing. And so I would walk out to my truck, and I would leave. And I'd get marked absent for whatever classes I missed.
Making boss moves.
But it wasn't the end of the world,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the way I would do it is I would go to my mom. She worked at the hospital at the time. I would go, I'd just walk in her office. I'd be like, hey, what are you doing for lunch today? And so we would have lunch together, and then I just wouldn't go back to school. She would think I was going back.
Right.
And
you
so,
going back to class now? Yeah, I got you.
So she never really got me. So before they would let me
adult confessions
enroll, so to speak, for my senior year of high school, Mr. Howell, who was the principal at the time, had a little meeting with me and my mama.
Oh.
and explained to her that I had this inordinate number of absences.
53 in one class.
It was like 39. It was a lot. And my mama's exact response was, I don't care if you have to drag your oxygen tank with you to class. You are going to school.
I see Miss Janet telling you that right now, too, boy. I can just see it.
Well, I'm bringing this full circle back to where we started this conversation. He told her, look, he can't graduate if he doesn't come to class. Now, my grades were still good in those other classes. My grades didn't suffer.
Right.
But there was still the attendance policy.
Right, exactly.
And so he's like, look, he's not going to graduate. He's not going to walk across the stage if he doesn't come to class. And so that's what led to Miss Janet's, you're going to class if you got to pull your oxygen tank with you. And so long story short, it was all she could do.
I can tell you, son.
To get me to graduation. So if something like this would have occurred.
Oh, boy, she'd have been hot.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, not hot. She probably would have been disappointed.
She'd have been very disappointed.
Very
because
disappointed.
My brother, on the other hand, he was a model student. He was like number 3 in his class or something. I was just trying
Make good
to get
grades
there.
in his sleep.
I could just see, graduation down the road. And I was like, if I can just get to May.
You see your dad walk by, he's like, oh, God.
Yeah. He's heard the story.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
I can see Miss Janet doing that, though, boy, I tell you.
What messed me up now, and this was my own doing, was once I got to college, there wasn't nobody that said you got to come to class. Now, your grades would suffer.
Oh, yes, they would.
And there may be a portion of your grade that was based on attendance, but if you failed, you just failed. Like, there wasn't nobody calling mama.
They don't care.
They
just going to want you to write that check again.
Yeah.
The following year.
So I kind of got in trouble when I got to college because I ain't got to go to class. Look, I didn't go to class in high school and I was not a graduate. By the time I got to college, that was not the same.
No, it's not. It's a little defront.
So long story short, if there are any seniors out there listening, I'm going to give you some advice. Don't think that you can carry over a lackadaisical attendance policy to your college years and expect to have the same result as you did in high school.
Not going to happen. Yeah. Yep, there he is. Freshly out of college.
What do you mean? It's only been a few years.
I know, right? What you saying, Ryan? He's old? He said, yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Ryan, the year you were born was the year I started skipping class in high school. So
the year you were born, I was having kids.
You were born in 99?
Oh, my gosh. Seriously?
It was 2001 or 2 when Mr. Howell called me into his office.
Word. Wow. Wow, Ryan. You wasn't even walking.
I saw Mr. Howell this morning, as a matter of fact. Yep.
Yep. I bet you he's enjoying his retirement.
I'm sure he is. Right. He was driving his blue truck right over here on East River Road.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
It's time now for your Southwest Georgia area news driven by Action GM on Highway 84 East in Bainbridge. All right, so I was at Action GM yesterday.
Yes.
I dropped my truck off to get the oil changed while I went into the, never-ending forest.
The never-ending land of nowhere.
Central Alabama with Al. When I got back, the oil change had been completed.
Right.
And I was able to just pick my truck up and go home.
Yep.
But while I was there, I talked to Clayton, who's selling cars literally right now like crazy because Action GM has this 0% for 84 months.
Right.
And no payments for 4 months.
That's 4 months, people.
Here's where I'm at on this. I'm just going to tell you. I'm going to be perfectly honest. If you're uncertain about what the next few months might hold.
Yes.
And you're thinking, man, I got all these bills, but if I could just make it through the next couple of months, things are probably going to be fine, well, it might be a good time to take a vacation from a car payment.
Right.
I mean,
For 4 months, hey, you can't beat it.
You know your own financial situation, but if you can have no payments for 4 months, and then once your payment starts, you're using somebody else's money for free at 0% for 84 months.
84 months.
It might be a good time for you to look at that. Action GM's got you covered on all 2019 models, plus the 2020 Chevy Silverado, so new truck. the Chevy Trax and Equinox, and the GMC Sierra and Terrain, and the Buick Encore.
Right.
So just about every model on the lot is eligible for this 0% for 84 months and no payments for 4 months at Action GM.
Wow.
All right, here's your obligatory
Yeah.
COVID-19 update.
Beep, 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 beep. Stay home. Wash your hands.
They've
There you
now
go.
confirmed a 4th case of
Right.
COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus,
Right.
in Lowndes County.
Okay.
Okay? So right now in our neck of the woods, it's Lowndes County and Dowdy County. You know what those two
Right.
counties have in common?
What?
Population.
Yes.
If you look at the population numbers in those two counties compared to the rest of Southwest Georgia,
Right.
the odds are
Right.
that there would be a positive case in those
Exactly.
counties, right? To date, there have been 4 total cases in Lowndes County. This individual is a Lowndes County resident, and health officials said the investigation is still ongoing to find out the source of the exposure. As always, in case you've missed it, let us remind you, please wash your hands
Yes.
for 20 seconds with soap and warm water. If soap and warm water are not available, if you're in Al's truck in the middle of Alabama, you can use hand sanitizer.
Right.
That helps too. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, which, by the way, do you realize how much you do that?
I do it constantly.
I do too, and didn't realize
I do
it until
With
now.
And if you have allergies, you will. It's instant that you stick your finger up there in your eye.
Yeah.
Walking around like this. Oh.
Yeah, I need to touch my face. My 2 soon-to-be 3-year-old little boy, Henry,
Oh my God, my nose.
was literally licking his hand and sticking his hand into his mouth, and I'm like, no,
Don't.
no,
COVID-19 alert.
and he just laughs. He's like, ha, 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 ha.
I ain't worried about this corona.
I mean, he's like literally licking it from the bottom all the way to the top of his fingers, which is gross, regardless of what else is going on.
I love little boys, man. I love them.
And
I
I'm
think
like-
they're hilarious.
I'm like, son, quit licking your hand.
Why are you a hand licker?
And he just laughed.
He just laughed.
Yeah. I
like
want to
him.
also debunk a rumor.
All right, debunk it.
This is from the AJC. An image has circulated on social media claiming that you can conduct a breath test on yourself
What?
to see if you have the coronavirus.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm not talking about smelling your breath. You know, when you blow into your hand.
That means you need Crest, not Corona.
This is a deal where if you are able to take a deep breath and hold it for more than 10 seconds,
Okay.
they say you have no infection. But that's not true.
That's stupid.
If that was the test and it was that easy,
I mean,
nobody'd ever have to go to the doctor for it.
everybody be holding their breath around.
Yep. Long story short, listen. If you think that you have the symptoms,
Right.
call your doctor.
Yes.
You start with a phone call.
It's easy.
You call your doctor, and then your doctor will ask you some questions.
Right.
And they are developing drive-through procedures and things like that
Right.
to determine, if you actually have it. And then if you do,
Right.
they'll move on from there. But by the way, I mean, so far in Decatur County, Seminole County, Miller County, Grady County, Thomas County, as best we know, there are no confirmed cases.
None yet.
So keep your hands clean,
Right.
and we'll be right back.
Don't lick your hand.
It's the Sack Lunch Show. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 1037 on your Wednesday, March 18th. It's time now to talk sports, brought to you by Yates Concrete, making concrete sexy for 3 generations. Well, pretty much everything's been canceled except for NFL free agency.
Yes.
Now, we don't do a lot of NFL talk here on the Sack Lunch Show.
We had to yesterday.
I am a cursory fan,
Right.
if you will. I'll pay attention to the NFL, but I'm not necessarily invested week to week, with the exception of my fantasy football team.
It seemed kind of odd us talking about it yesterday because we was like, we don't ever talk about it. We did.
Well, and that's okay.
It's hard.
It's
hard not to.
By the way, I'm just going to say it. If they end up canceling college football, we all have to just.
It's going to be a depression.
I mean, we got to stick together.
Yeah, there needs to be a riot. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Johnny. Don't even.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I don't think that's going to happen, only because college football's played in the fall.
Right.
That's several months from now.
Stuff
I could
fall.
see some things, getting pushed back, possibly.
Maybe.
Like for example, they officially confirmed yesterday and early this morning that all schools, for example, in Florida,
Right.
they're done.
They're done.
They're done for the semester. So all of the spring sports
Are gone.
are gone. Now, they had said previously that they were suspended,
Right.
and they would probably not be coming back, but they just made it official yesterday. No students going back to campus after
At all.
spring break. Everything's distance learning.
Right.
So you can't expect the athletes to come back and practice, and then, it's not feasible. So
It's not going to happen.
long story short, spring baseball,
Spring football.
spring football, softball, all of these
Right.
sports
Tennis.
that would
All your
normally
tennis,
be played this time of year on college campuses are done. Spring football being a key component that might affect fall football because
Right.
these teams use these 2 weeks in the spring to practice.
Right.
And I'm sure at some point the NCAA would be willing to give them the practice time back.
I'm sure.
But that all just depends on what happens with
It's going to be a weird season.
COVID-19.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be a weird deal.
but the one thing that is continuing, so much so that it kind of surprised me, was NFL free agency.
Right.
There's been some moves that nobody really cared about.
Right.
This defensive end from this team is now signing with this team,
Yeah.
and he's going to make $5 million. And that's whatever. Big deal to him.
Hey.
But to us, I mean, I don't even know who they are.
Right.
So, but I do know who Phillip Rivers is.
I know him.
I do know who Tom Brady is.
We know him.
We're very familiar with the, obvious names in the NFL. Phillip Rivers, the news yesterday was that he's going to Indianapolis for 1 year on, I think, a $25 million deal.
Wow.
The other big news and the biggest news in NFL free agency was Tom Brady.
Yes, sir.
Tom Brady announced yesterday that he would not be returning to New England.
Nope.
After spending 20 years with the team.
Yep.
He said on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, that he appreciated everything, love y'all, but I'm out.
He's gone.
And then the next big rumor that I don't know, it could be officially confirmed now, is that he is going to Tampa Bay.
What?
Has that been confirmed yet, Ryan?
What? No. That's completely unfair. 3 hours. Tom, come on, man.
Tom Brady is going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow.
Has it been announced? Has his deal been announced, or is it just like expected? Okay. Well,
So
it's
what happens
expected
to Jameis?
that Tom Brady's going to Tampa. That means something's got to happen with Jameis Winston. So Jameis Winston is going to be playing quarterback somewhere in the NFL next year. He's not going to fall out of the league.
Nah.
He just threw for over 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Miami.
He also threw 30 interceptions, but
Hey,
he had
we're not counting that.
Their QBR was exactly the same. As a matter of fact, Tom Brady and,
Really?
and Jameis Winston's last
Wow.
year was like 57.4. They were
Man.
exactly the same. Here's my theory. Who else is looking for a quarterback?
Miami.
New England.
No.
The Patriots just lost their quarterback.
Well, go somewhere else.
They drop back in the pocket
Yeah.
and throw the ball downfield.
Right.
What is Jameis Winston good at?
Running.
No,
he's a pocket passer.
He's a pocket passer. He drops back and throws it downfield. Now, he might throw it to the other team,
30 times.
but he throws it down the
Yeah.
field. If anybody can maximize Jameis Winston
Oh, it would be
It's
Belichick.
Bill Belichick. I mean,
he could do it.
I got a feeling that relationship could be considered coarse.
Like an SOS pad.
Yeah.
The deal is done. But
Brady to the Bucks.
it's rumored to be done. I don't know if everybody's signed and whatnot.
Don't read the truth, Ryan.
I saw
He's going to Miami. No.
Yeah.
I saw yesterday or this morning that it's thought to be a $30 million per.
$30 million. They don't know how long yet.
Wow.
It hasn't been reported.
I'm guessing 3 years
I would say 3.
because Brady said he wanted to play until he's 45.
So he's 42.
So
It's 3 years.
he had his choice of Los Angeles or Tampa.
Jesus.
One state has no state income tax.
Right.
One state has a ton of state income tax.
True.
So I don't know if that had any effect, but
Maybe.
it's worth
Yeah.
what? $5 million?
Right.
I mean, what's the income tax rate in the state of California? It's
Oh
high.
gosh,
Yeah.
it's the highest in the United States, ain't it?
It's-
Other than New York.
It's up there. Either that or New York.
New York, yeah.
So, I mean, he's a California kid. That was what he said in his Instagram post was like, you embrace this California kid. So that kind of made people think,
Yeah.
okay, maybe he's going to California. Because the
California.
Chargers don't have a quarterback because Phillip Rivers is
Gone.
now in Indianapolis.
Where? Every time. I mean, I'm going to become a.
Marcus Mariota's going to Las Vegas
Yeah.
for the Raiders.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. I like Tampa.
The language ain't no different. I mean,
like
there's Spanish on both ends.
I like Tampa.
I love Tampa.
If I were to choose, I've told my wife this, Allie, before, like, we're here forever.
Right.
But if, like, you just got to pick up and
Right.
choose
Your retirement
a
age or
big
something.
city
Yeah.
or something, I mean, I would want to be in the Tampa area because it's Florida. You get to the beaches and all that.
Oh, yeah.
There's great fishing.
Oh, man. On every corner.
There's plenty of wild hogs to hunt. And
There's stuff to do beyond measure. for
my
the kids, everything.
brother-in-law's neighborhood has got more deer on it than,
They're checking mailboxes. Hey, man,
I mean,
my taxes
seriously,
come in.
he sends me pictures on his morning run of like
Right.
deer every morning. Big bucks, little bucks,
Yeah.
does, fawns. I'm sitting in the deer stand, hadn't seen anything in
Yeah.
3 sits.
He's in town.
and he's running around his neighborhood, and there's a 9-point standing in his neighbor's backyard.
Eating flowers going, hey, man.
So I mean, Tampa's not a bad place to
I
go.
like Tampa. And you have all your entertainment there. I mean, as far as kids goes, you've got, parks and Busch Gardens and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. And not far from Disney, right? Not too far from Disney. But Tom could have went 3 more hours.
It's not too far, as the crow flies.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like, what, 90 miles, 100 miles? But if you have to go from Tampa to Orlando on I-4,
Oh, you can cancel that.
it's like 4 hours.
It's 92 hours.
You must have
You
hit
must
it
have did
just
it
right.
at 12 midnight.
I did it about 9 o'clock
In the morning?
on a Thursday.
Afternoon
have-
or morning?
I have never. You're the first person ever to tell me
Right.
that they have traveled between Tampa and Orlando
At 9.
without hitting significant traffic.
At 9 in the
Seriously.
morning. Traffic
I've
starts
done
at
it.
6.
I've done it, I don't know, half dozen times, every time.
Every single time.
It don't matter. I went from Orlando to Disney World. It's like 10 miles, and it took me over an hour.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would live in Orlando. It's a nice town. I mean, hey, that's
Yeah,
Disney
Orlando's
Central.
okay. Tampa's better, I think.
I think so. It's more out of the hustle and bustle of the Disney World situation.
Well, and Tampa's got Ybor City,
True.
which is really cool. Did you go there?
Right, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yes.
It's great.
Did
Yeah.
you do the Columbia salad? Like, did they bring the big salad bowl to the table? Oh, man, you missed
Dude,
out.
you
It's the
missed
best
that.
salad ever.
Yeah, it's better than Olive Garden.
Very rarely would I tell you to go to a restaurant
In order to
and order the salad. It's like the 1912, I think is what it's called.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's got a unique taste to it.
And I've got the Columbia Restaurant cookbook. I do.
He took it home with it.
Seriously, I love that place. And that salad has probably 40 ingredients. Most salads are like,
cheese, ham, eggs, blah.
maybe a dozen ingredients. It's got all sorts of stuff in it.
Dude, I love a salad like that. It's just so good. I mean, you just get all the different tastes in a salad.
So did you see the University of Tampa? You were right down there near it if you went to the Columbia. Very cool campus down there. So
Right.
I guess that's why Tom Brady chose it. Maybe it was the Columbia.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just him being dead center in the middle of Florida. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's definitely
I
not
hope he
because
don't
of Tampa's offensive line.
It's definitely not. And Tom's not a runner.
Yeah.
Tom's going to be hurting.
All right, so we've got a little special segment here that we're going to play. Just a little bit of, you know what? In fact, we'll save this special segment until the next segment. How about that? It's a call-in.
Sounds good.
From Mr. Gino Rogers. We'll save that for right after this commercial break that's coming up here in just a minute, because I do want to mention before we go to break one more significant sports story, and that is that there has been another high-profile athlete, this one probably the highest-profile athlete, that has been diagnosed with COVID-19. Kevin Durant.
Oh!
Yep, has tested positive.
What?
According to ESPN confirming yesterday, he said, everyone be careful, take care of yourself in quarantine. We're going to get through this. He experienced no symptoms.
Really?
None. Now, I have a bit of a philosophical bone to pick with whoever is authorizing the testing of people without symptoms.
Right.
When I have been told by doctors that there are people that are exhibiting symptoms, but they don't meet the threshold, so they don't get the test.
Oh, man.
And then we're just going to test everybody that's an athlete or something. That bothers me a little bit.
That right there really bothers me.
But I don't want to focus on the negative.
If it's a national crisis, I don't care if you're Kevin Durant or whoever. You getting behind me if I'm in front of you.
According to ESPN, the Lakers, the whole team, are going to be tested today after learning that the Nets had players tested. Now, the Nets, let me make sure I'm clear about this. They had their players tested by a private company, and the team paid out of pocket.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
So that helps my feelings.
Right. You paid for it, so that's good.
But I didn't realize that was an option.
Right.
You know what I'm
Didn't
saying?
Nobody ever tell us that?
I didn't realize that was an option. I'm sure you're right.
I think it's a basketball owner level.
I wonder how much it was. I mean, how much does it normally cost to just give me a COVID-19 test? If you want to buy one.
Oh, you're talking about it like if a doctor authorizes it?
No, I'm just saying, just like him, just like Kevin Durant. If I wanted to walk in and say, "Look, I want to be cautious. How much does it cost for me to just give you this cash? You give me the test. I'll know if I got it or not."
I got to be careful because I got like split feelings on this. Like part of me says like, free enterprise system,
I mean,
just is what it is. The other part of me says like, wait a second. Like if there are enough tests, they just cost a bunch of money.
Right.
Then we need to figure out a way to get them paid for so that the senior citizens
they should be
that
first.
might be exhibiting symptoms, can get them, that kind of thing. But I don't know all the details,
Right.
so I'm just gonna pause my thoughts on that.
Even if they said, "Look, all you seniors come to X place. We're going to give you all you
Johnny's
seniors.
gonna pay for it.
Whoever's going to pay for it. You guys come right now, and we're going to give you the test to make sure you don't have it." That, to me, would seem to be more reasonable than anything else, because they're the ones that are going to really suffer for it if they get it. So.
Hey, it's the Sack Lunch Show. We got a special segment coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11 o'clock on the dot on your Wednesday, March 18th. All right, fellas, we're going to do this segment a little bit different. We had a special call-in this morning from our loyal listener, Mr. Gino Rogers. He called in and spoke with Big K this morning, and I've got that call in. It's very, I think anyway, sensible approach to all that we're dealing with. Let's be honest. Everybody's life is a little bit out of flux.
No,
is that the right way to say that? Or influx?
Yep. What? Out of flux.
Influx. But you also get an influx of people.
Right. So.
Okay. So everybody's life is in flux.
I thought it was out of flux.
You better watch the way you say that.
Out of flux. It's not, I didn't say a cuss word. Is it influx? All right,
everybody's life is crazy.
We're all shot out.
Things are different right now for a lot of people.
It is.
The advice I would give you is, first of all, if you're concerned about the future, if you're worried about what's next, if you're worried about the coronavirus, how about turning to the one who created it all?
Right.
I mean, if you think that this COVID-19 caught God by surprise, then you're sorely mistaken. He's not surprised by any of this. So, that's the first step I would tell you. I would also tell you to just chill, man.
I have studied the Bible.
Understand.
I have studied the Bible for years. And let me tell you, if it's happening, it's because he allowed it.
That's exactly right. And he knew it was coming.
He knew it was coming, and there's a purpose. Don't know, but there's a purpose.
All right, so enjoy this phone call with Big K and Gino Rogers here. I think you'll enjoy it.
All right.
He's a funny man anyway.
Gino.
So I think you'll like it. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11:17 on your Wednesday, March 18th. This is the Sack Lunch Show, and we are presented by David White and the gang at Cook's Appliance Services, the Bonnie Blue House, Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, H&R Block in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, and Blakely, ABAC at Bainbridge, Stewart Auto Parts, B3 Property Management, United Rentals, and the Nomad Nurse. Hold on, Johnny. Hold on. Johnny was late getting back in here. He's working too hard. Go ahead.
Well-paid attorneys at law, Brownlee Glass Company, Carter's Fried Chicken, Dr. Homer Breckenridge III, Attaway Ford, Bernie's Transmission Specialist, and Bones Home.
We're also brought to you by Specialty Auto, Bainbridge DUI School, Dixie Dandy, Southern Harvest Equipment, Mitchell County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, CNR Parts and Auto Body, and my friend Cole at South Georgia Motorsports.
And don't forget, New South Roofing, Grassy Cuts, Seminole Hydraulics, the law offices of Silvas, Ambrose, Linkwist & Co., Westwood Schools, Hill Stump Grinding, Lane's Medical Shop, and Studio Tees.
It's now time for our favorite portion of the show. It's now time for Tell Me Something Good, brought to you by the law office of Silvas, Ambrose, Linkwist & Co.
Well, as you know, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 epidemic.
What?
No, really? What is
Pandemic.
pandemic?
Do you know the difference?
Epidemic and a pandemic?
I learned it once. I don't remember. Do
I
you
don't
know the
remember.
difference?
Epidemic is already there. Pandemic is on its way.
I think one's worldwide or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Look it up, Ryan.
people are getting sick.
People are getting sick all over the world, all over the universe, seems like. Well, there's a lady, which is exactly kind of, she's from Duke University, which is
Okay.
bad enough.
From a Miami fan.
From a Miami fan, and was talking with her grandfather on the phone, and he mentioned that he was going to the grocery store. Well, she was concerned for him because, you know, the elderly population is at the most risk of catching the coronavirus. But he lives in New Jersey, and she lives in the Carolinas. Well, when she got the idea of making he got the idea of making grocery runs for her senior neighbors, you know, in lieu of helping her grandfather.
Okay.
And so what she did, she says, I'm excited that I am probably going to get a sweet loaf of banana bread from the neighbor, but she said that
That's worth it.
that's worth every bit.
First of all.
Yeah, that's worth everything. But she said her name is Becky Hoffler, and what she did was her grandfather, of course, she's very close to her, and so what they did was he taught her how to FaceTime, or taught him how to FaceTime, and
Johnny's getting all choked
yeah,
up.
I got choked up. But they completed, you know, the FaceTime, and he was saying, "Look, I'm going to the grocery store." And she got real nervous. She's like, "Wait, you know, you're in your 80s. You know, should you really be doing that right now, middle of this, you know, COVID-19 outbreak?" Well, the next door neighbor said that, "Hey, I'll go with him." You know, and well, it sparked up an idea. So there is a picture of this girl who is standing out by the grocery store. And I don't have the picture with me, but she's standing outside the grocery store. She says, "In spite of COVID-19, I will help you buy your groceries," type thing. You know, the whole poster said, "I'll, you know, bring them to your house. Here's my number." Well, within minutes, some of the people that was at the grocery store at the time rode by and saw the number, took the number down, and started calling their parents and said, "Hey, this girl said that she would come and bring you groceries, blah, 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 blah." Well, turned out to be a humongous, you know, success. She ended up with like 50 people calling her within the hour. And anyway, what she did was she got some more of her friends, and the Duke University heard about it, said, "All right, we're going to get behind this one." And so the Duke University got behind it. I guess they put their stamp on it, their name, you know, whatever. So there are 19 actually, COVID-19. There are 19 people that are helping this girl, and she's taking groceries from.
She's helping seniors get their groceries.
They're pulling up and giving her the list.
Gotcha.
And so she's standing there at the grocery store. They pull up and give her the list. She runs in and gets it, brings it back out to the car, puts it in the trunk, makes the payment, and has not taken one dime from anybody.
That's a great story. I've thought about honestly doing the same. I have not done
Right,
it. She's actually done it.
Right.
Here's another thing, too, by the way, just a brief little plug for our advertisers, the grocery stores that advertise
Yes,
with us.
sir.
First of all, the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less, Highway 39 South in Donaldsonville, has a special senior hour from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. all week, Monday through Friday, where it's just senior citizens.
Right.
You get to the cart before anybody else has touched it.
It's sparkling clean.
They're also doing a triple cleaning program throughout the day and overnight.
Right.
So they're going to clean overnight. When you get there, and as a senior citizen
Right.
at 6 in the morning or 6:30 or whatever, that cart has been freshly cleaned. Nobody else has touched it since it's been cleaned. That's one thing at the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less in Donaldsonville. They also have paper products like toilet paper and paper towels and bottled water in stock. That's at the Pig. Here at Dixie Dandy, here in Bainbridge, they're offering curbside pickup.
Right.
You just call Dixie Dandy, tell them what you want. They'll bring it out to your car.
Bonnie Blue House started to deliver.
Bonnie Blue House is delivering.
Right.
J3 Barbecue already delivers.
You know what? One thing I thought about the Piggly Wiggly, because they're the first ones that really bounced this off of us. I mean, not bounced it off of us, but gave us the, for us to tell. For them to think about the customer to that great length, why would you not want to go to that grocery store? You know what I mean?
Well, we've got a lot. We can go right down this path.
Right.
There are a lot of locally owned small businesses, and in this case, the Piggly Wiggly qualifies. It is a locally owned small business. It's a grocery store with the national name on it, but it's owned locally, and it's a small business, especially compared to major corporations, right? So we have a bunch of locally owned small businesses in southwest Georgia that these people are counting on our business to keep their doors open. And a good example of that is your local restaurant. So I'm not telling you not to go to a chain restaurant and go through their drive-through or anything like that. But if you're trying to decide between some nationally owned chain restaurant, they need your business too. But if you're trying to decide between that and a locally owned restaurant, I would encourage you to choose the locally owned restaurant, because a lot of times, their margins are thinner than that national brand may be. If it comes down to, look, I'm just going to say, if it comes down to Walmart versus the Pig, I want you to go to the Pig, because the Pig's going to sponsor your ball team.
It's just exactly what I was going to say.
Now, I'm not telling you shouldn't go to Walmart. If you want to go to Walmart, whatever, man. I'm just telling you, if you want my opinion, go to the Dixie Dandy, where they're going to be the ones that are going to help you with that fundraiser in the fall or whatever it is. I get it. These other places are community partners too, and I'm not down on anybody else. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, but where?
In my opinion, if you have the choice to make right now, every bit of business is critical. It is. I mean, we're talking about might be the difference between that particular company or business closing their doors permanently. And making it through this.
Corporate will be fine.
How long ago was it that a lot of these same businesses had to weather the Hurricane Michael storm? 18 months ago?
It's been long.
Been about 18 months, hadn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So they finally got over that. Now they're being hit with this. And I'm just telling you, people work at Walmart too. I'm not trying to, whatever. But I'm just telling you, if you want my opinion, Dustin's opinion, I'm going to make every effort possible to shop local. I understand that there will be times where you can't, or something like that, or, just whatever. Given the opportunity, shop local.
I mean, it does not hurt. It is beneficial for the community.
I'm always a fan of shopping local, first of all, but especially right now.
And your corporate chains are going to be fine. They'll be fine. They're not struggling for anything.
Look, our world economy is going to take a hit. It just is, right? It is. So I mean, there's a reason why they are taking these drastic measures to try to stimulate the economy before it gets too far in the hole. So I mean, there will be casualties, so to speak, economically speaking. But let's do our best, man, to steer business to these local people. I mean, like we were saying about the Pig, man, they're opening from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. for these senior citizens. Dixie Dandy's doing, curbside pickup. The Bonnie Blue House is offering delivery. Carter's Fried Chicken's got a drive-through. You know what I mean?
You know what I loved about the Pig too? They said, what, if you have a non-senior that has to come with you, they're more than welcome to come in. But it's only for seniors, but they're going to be the ones that'll help. You know what I mean? They're giving you every opportunity, no matter what the age is, for you to be able to obtain what you need to control your household. So I thought that was just an outstanding. Even the kids and cops feeding kids during the you know what I mean. Every time you don't see anybody else doing that.
And if you're looking for a way to help,
right?
They are taking monetary donations
Right.
to help feed kids that are not in school.
Yeah.
It's possible. I have not gotten this from any official source or anything else, but I think it is possible that kids might not go back to school till the fall. I mean, we don't know. Until then, we won't know.
I know the Florida kids aren't.
So these kids still have to eat.
Right.
I mean, and a lot of them, they may not get a meal except for at school. So if you want to help the kids in Cops and Isaac's Bakery, there's another good example of a local business stepping up. If you want to help them, you can make a monetary donation to Kids and Cops, which is tax deductible, by the way.
Yes,
just
it is.
FYI.
Right.
You can make a monetary donation to help feed these kids.
Right.
There's churches that are doing the same. There's one down in Attapulgis that's doing it. So, let's.
I just know that when the community, it was definitely indicative and evident. Hurricane Michael proved it. The Cloud Prayer Initiative proved it. This last little hurricane we have proved it. Small towns may not be, we're small, but I'm telling you, when a crisis comes together, it's very evident that the mindset is, hey, what can we do to help each other? Most big cities you don't see that. You have an organization that'll do something and it'll help a certain part of the neighborhood, but this is the whole town, and surrounding towns. So I'm so happy about folks around here, man. They're doing a jam-up job. What about you, Ryan?
We'll be broadcasting live this Friday afternoon at the Piggly Wiggly in Donaldsonville from 3:30 to 5:30. Be a good time to just replenish maybe some of the necessary things that you need. Don't go in there and act crazy, but hey, you need some more peanut butter and some bread or something like that. They got you covered, man. They got all sorts of cereal. Johnny can't survive without cereal.
Man, if there ain't a box of Fruity Pebbles.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Fruity Pebbles?
Rice
Krispie
Krispies,
treats?
the plain crime? What? That is so old.
I would say my favorite cereal, and keep in mind, I'm gonna eat mine without milk, right?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
because
right,
I can't because of the lactose
They got
intolerant.
lactose milk.
Yeah, whatever. I just rather eat it
Tastes
straight
like
out.
chalk.
The way I eat cereal is I put my hand down in the box and I stuff it all in my mouth. Then I put my hand in the box again. It's my cereal. I bought it.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite is probably Fruit Loops.
Yeah. I like Loops. I like the Loop.
I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Ooh.
I like Captain Crunch. Although it'll cut your
Jacks.
mouth up. I like
Listen,
Apple Jacks.
Captain Crunch is made of small little razor blades.
and rocks.
And beach pebbles.
with the fruity pebbles. Yeah. I was never a favor of like the
Count Chocula.
the wheat one. You know what I mean? Like
Wheat thins.
ugh.
It's mini wheat.
No, I don't want any of that.
I don't want to eat a mop head.
No.
That's what it reminds me of. Putting you. Yeah.
No. I mean, I will if I have to.
I mean, yeah. Crunch time comes. We'll eat some mini wheat.
It's the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11:39 on your Wednesday, March 18th. It's time now to talk sports, brought to you by Yates Concrete, making concrete sexy for 3 generations. Ryan, you told us in the break that you did determine the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic. Can you educate us, please, sir? Class is in session.
So, an epidemic
Yes.
is a rise in the number of cases of a disease beyond what is normally expected in a geographical area. This is USnews.com.
U.S.
Okay. All right. So then, if in a region of Africa, a specific disease.
I think it would have to be even more specific than a region. Like, it would have to be Sudan. Or
Okay.
Right.
it might even have to be like Georgia in the United States.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's like cross state.
A specific area.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe the South. Maybe it was
Okay.
Okay. Epidemic.
Epidemic.
Yes.
it is.
All right. So then, if an epidemic is confined to a specific, we'll just say region.
Area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Re-
Then what is a pandemic?
Pandemic is used to describe a disease that is spread across many countries and affects a large number of people.
yeah,
So I
it's a
was
pan-
kind of right
Yes.
when I said it's because it's worldwide.
Well, he was right. Right.
Yeah.
Period. Not kind of. Exactly
Well,
right.
I mean, but it doesn't have to be worldwide to
Right.
be a pandemic. So it
Right.
could be like 6 countries.
Right.
Yeah, you could consider, like, if one person here had it and one person in Australia had it, you could consider that worldwide.
Yeah, I guess. Kind of. Well, I guess on paper. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So we're in a pandemic. No, I'm just kidding. It's a
Oh,
pandemic, bro.
It is officially a pandemic as declared by the World Health Organization, last week?
Yep.
I think it was last week when they declared it a
Jeez.
pandemic. By the way, dogs can't get COVID-19.
Really?
Seriously, I saw this the other day.
Huh.
Dogs can't get it. That was as determined by the WHO.
Wow.
So it's determined that the dogs are out. And
So that's who put it on board.
who
The dogs.
let the dogs out?
Who? Yeah, the dogs are doing it.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
It's kind of like, I would prefer to be sick over my kids.
The dogs are taking over the world.
Ryan feels the same way about his dog.
Right. 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 Well, I can't because I don't have a dog. So yeah, I have a Flo. That's who I take care of. A Flo. It's my mother. I have a mom. She grooms really well. She pets real nice. She won't bite. I mean, she might. Get close to the
You
insurer.
aggravate her enough.
You get close to the insurer, you're getting bit. Get off my Jello. Mostly doesn't bite. She only bites people that are Puerto Rican
Or jaybirds.
or birds named Jay. That case, that stray cat strut just reminded me of Jaybird so much.
Well, it's because he struts when he walks.
I could see him snapping his fingers coming down the hallway. I'm a stray cat.
All right, it's time now for our sports, brought to you by Yates Concrete, making concrete sexy for 3 generations. So in the sports world, mainly what's going on besides the announcement of things being canceled,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Right.
the Ryder Cup was postponed
That's just
Yesterday.
So stupid.
along with the Masters. The French Open was rescheduled, so I'm not a tennis guy, but I know that the French Open is, it's one of those big tournaments.
That's a big open space where the pandemic originated, probably, maybe.
So they're going to have, the way I understand this, the French Open is now scheduled for the weekend after the U.S. Open,
Okay.
not the golf tournament.
The tennis tournament.
Apparently, there's a tennis and a golf tournament called the U.S. Open.
There is.
Okay. Well, the U.S. Open tennis tournament
Right.
will be held in like September.
Right.
And then the next weekend is when the French Open was rescheduled.
Right. And that's how they classify it as the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah,
U.S.
it's-
Open,
it's
USOTT.
Yeah. And then the U.S. Open golf tournament. No.
No, it's like one's like professional golfers.
Yeah.
And one's oh, I don't know about that.
See,
I think
golf-
the U.S. Open's part of the U.S. Golf Association, right?
Yes. It is. It's part of the PGA or the G something.
USGA.
USGA.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Right.
I can play golf.
Oh.
But I can play, but I don't watch.
Oh, dude.
Do you watch the Masters? Really? That's really the only golf tournament I watch.
I'll
is the
watch
Masters.
some. I mean, I watch most of your majors. Not the whole thing. Catch, like the last round.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to sit there and watch. Now, I have watched full tournaments. I mean, but my choice is I'll catch you on the final round.
Yeah.
See what happens in the final 18 holes.
Well, it's because a lot of times there's a lot of people that are leading
It's so much switching
on
going.
Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday that are not going to win the tournament.
That are 10 shots out by the time they get up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So in the sports world, the big deal was NFL free agency.
Yes.
Yesterday specifically. And the big news in the NFL free agency world was that Tom Brady was not going to return to the Patriots.
Mm.
Now, keep in mind, I saw this yesterday. Boston has now lost their best and biggest name baseball player, Mookie Betts.
Oh, yeah.
He went to L.A. Now they've lost their biggest name and probably,
Right.
most favorite son ever, Tom Brady, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Has that been confirmed yet? Okay, it's not official yet that Tom Brady is going to Tampa, but it is heavily rumored that that's where he'll end up. He's supposedly looking at about $30 million per year. You ask yourself this question, well, what about Jameis Winston? Because he's been the quarterback in Tampa, but if Tom Brady shows up, I promise you he ain't coming there to, sit behind Jameis.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
He's not.
Or to compete for the job. Like,
No.
if Tom Brady shows up, it's not to compete for the job. It's to take over
Oh, no,
and be
Jameis,
the
you
quarterback.
gone. Yeah, Jameis,
So
you gone.
Jameis Winston's going somewhere.
He gone.
Where's Jameis Winston going? My theory is he's going to New England. They're
Think
going to
so?
swap
You think?
quarterbacks.
I don't know, man. I
Think of all of the and I'm not lumping Jameis in with some of the other characters that Bill Belichick has brought in.
Oh, yeah.
But think of all of the really, really talented football players that Bill Belichick has brought in
Right.
and attempted to, quote, rehabilitate or however you want to put it. You know what I mean? Just last year, he brought in Antonio Brown and tried that.
Yeah.
You remember that? I mean,
The
Randy
debacle.
Moss.
Yeah.
Remember that? There have been guys like that Bill Belichick knew was all right. That's a really good football player. We've just got to keep him out of trouble.
We just got to put somebody outside his door every night.
Yeah. I'm not saying Jameis Winston is Antonio Brown, but Jameis has had his fair share
Yeah, he's had a little
of
craziness.
off-the-field storylines,
Right.
but he's also a good football player.
Right.
So you pair him with Bill Belichick, and if he can somehow cut down on the interceptions, I mean, Jameis led the league in passing yards last year. He threw it for over 5,000 yards. He threw for 30 touchdowns. Now he threw 30 interceptions.
That's a huge number.
But he got his eyes fixed in the offseason. So now he can see who he's throwing it to. He's liable to throw 100 touchdowns. I mean, he was basically throwing it with his eyes closed. Well, it's because the receivers were so wide open. That's not exactly true, but it's partially true. I mean, when you got Kelvin Benjamin,
Right. You could throw it anywhere. Yeah. I'd say you could
as
throw it
evidenced by the game-winning touchdown pass in the national championship game.
anywhere. He caught that one.
I mean, he just threw it up there.
Right.
And, I mean, it's an alley-oop, Kelvin. You
Oh,
jump
yeah.
up there and
just
catch
grab it and dunk it.
Yeah, so, but, I mean, who knows? Jameis may be okay in Bill Belichick's offense. I'll say this. If he goes to New England and throws 30 interceptions, it won't take long for them to get rid of him
Yeah.
or to bench him.
Oh, he won't. Belichick. He won't hold out that long.
No.
No. You go through 2 or 3 games and you throw 5 interceptions in 2 or 3 games. You're gonna have
Well, Jameis is liable to throw 5 in 1.
You're gonna have a talking too.
I mean, he's completely capable of throwing it to the other team 5 times in 1 game.
But to his defense, he's really had not much offensive line to work with.
Well, his
so
offensive line, and that's the thing about Tom Brady going to Tampa is
I don't know what he's gonna do.
they got a couple of offensive linemen, but they literally had 0 running game last year.
No.
That's another thing James had at Florida State.
A really good offensive line.
Right.
Yep.
And he can run. I mean, he's a dual threat. Jameis is, ain't he?
Yeah, he is, but he's
He's not the
he's
fastest
a
guy on the
pocket
planet,
passer.
but,
I mean, he's going to drop back and throw it deep. That's what
Right.
he wants to do. He
Right.
wants to throw it 68 yards down
Right,
the
every
left
time.
sideline.
Every time.
Or across the middle through 4 different
Right.
guys
Yeah.
and hit his guy 14 yards downfield,
Right. And it-
behind the defense. The only problem is not everybody has,
Right.
Hey, you remember that there was a touchdown pass Jameis threw against Louisville in 2014 where it literally went through a guy's hands, like a linebacker standing there,
Right.
and it just he couldn't catch it, and it went through his hands, and there was a converted defensive back who had also been a wide receiver and was back to wide receiver, Ermon Lane,
Right.
who caught it. Who, by the way, Ermon couldn't catch anything ever. He caught that by accident and scored a touchdown. This was in one of those epic comeback games
Right.
that Florida State had that year. And they asked Jimbo Fisher in the postgame, they were like, what about that pass to Ermon Lane? He's like, oh, yeah, he meant to do that. We were all like,
Come on, Jimbo.
I
I
don't-
know you're trying to hold your secrets, man.
Like,
Come on now. Jimbo, I think you're telling the story.
I don't think he meant to do that. There was another one where it bounced off of somebody.
Didn't he have one where it like hit a player's head, like a lineman's head?
Yeah, and like
I thought he
Devontae
caught
Freeman caught it.
that. But he did catch one, though, that bounced off a lineman's head and ran it.
I
Remember?
don't know, man.
Devontae Freeman did catch one off the line.
Off the head.
Speaking of Devontae Freeman, the Falcons released him.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I think he's probably got another contract in him.
Right.
Maybe he
Think so.
reunites with Jameis Winston somewhere.
Hey, never know.
It's a Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show. It is 11:58. 2 more minutes before lunchtime. Hope you guys enjoyed the Sack Lunch Show. We've enjoyed being on here with you. Sorry that the sports is just a little slack right now. But, hey, we're going to be all right. No. Just have to wait till everybody goes inside and washes their hands. Hey, this has been the Sack Lunch Show. Listen, don't forget tomorrow, Jesus and Jammin'. Don't forget the scripture in the morning on SoWeCanLive.com. We'll be back, Lord willing, tomorrow with the Sack Lunch Show. And we'll be here this afternoon and tomorrow for the ride. If you guys want to join in with us, we'd love to have you. Hey, I hope you have a great afternoon. Hope you have a great evening. Tune in with us this afternoon for the ride. It'll be from 4 to 6 this afternoon. Me and Rock and Roll will be spinning the tunes for you. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Don't be coughing on anybody and don't sneeze. Yeah, wash everything. Yeah, everything. Wash it all. Right, exactly. Hey, we love you. We appreciate you. It's been a Sack Lunch Show. Tune in with us tomorrow.